Facebooks. Hey Facebook, happy Tuesday. We've got Instagram with us as well. I'm excited to chat with you all. Let's see, trying something a little different. We've done this before. I'm going to see if this is popping up and if I can share this into my Facebook group, because I think that actually works better, because then I can put the fun little subtitles afterwards, which my Facebook group will not allow me to do. So I'm going to start talking and seeing if we can share at the same time. Let's see how well I can multitask. Instagram, say hi. Hey Andrew, nice to have you. Just getting started. So today what we are talking about is all about income ceilings. And I'm sure this is, okay, let's just see. I clearly can't multitask. Let me just pretend that I can. Share to a group, business besties, and then we will for real get started. There we go. We are sharing. Host, okay, I think that'll work. Okay, so today, income ceilings. And hey Wilson, nice to have you here. What I want to talk about today are 3 reasons. It's actually, I have 4. As I was thinking about this, I had another one I wanted to share with you all. 3 reasons you're hitting an income ceiling and not able to go past that in your business, in your, really it could be anywhere outside of business as well. This is a topic I don't think we talk about enough. I think we talk a lot about reaching income levels, but not a lot about what happens when we do, maybe you've already created some success in your business and you feel like you've plateaued and you've been at the same place for a while, and it's like, oh, woe is me, I don't want to complain about that, except for most of us want to grow, and there's usually a reason we're not. Or sometimes you can feel like, I'm working so hard, I'm doing all the things, I'm making some income, but I just can't seem to get past this certain level. Or I think the other thing that can happen is we will surpass a certain income level and then we find ourselves going up and down, kind of that yo-yo income. Yo-yo incoming, is that a term? I just made it a term if not. All of these things are really common, come up a lot with clients, they come up a lot with people when I'm talking to them on consultation calls, and I think there's a couple different factors that come up that we're just not talking about enough, and that's what I want to dig into today. And I'm going to preface this by saying this has come up so much in the past week with clients and on consultation calls, and everyone, if anyone's watching on the replay or watching live, is going to think I'm talking about them. I promise that I'm not. I also promise that I pick these topics way in advance, so I think it's just the funny way of synchronicity of the universe, the way that happens. It tends to happen a lot, so I'm not calling anyone out. Promise, these have been topics that I had picked for a while and things that are just that common and come up for all of us. Also, as I'm talking, let me know if this is resonating with you. Let me know if you've been there. Let me know if you resonated with any of these pieces. Hey, digital wellness, nice, well-being coach, I should say, nice to have you with us, just getting started. So the first one, I'm gonna start in reverse. This is the one I wanted to share that just came to me today that felt really important. I'm gonna share it first because I don't think we're talking about it enough, and I think it's really important whether you're building, growing, scaling your business, and that is the idea of integration. So I think a lot of times what happens as we're growing our business and we start to make income, we make some income, and then if you're a high achiever like me, raise your hand. I think it's a beautiful personality type, but we are very driven to keep going to the next thing, and we get a lot of our sense of self-worth and our sense of well-being and self-love and all the good, warm, fuzzy feelings from external metrics, and we can be very future-oriented. What that can mean a lot of times is we hit a goal, and before we ever integrate it, settle into it, make it the new normal, make it something that we are comfortable in, we are on to the next thing. It is like just on to the next goal, getting the thumbs up, so guessing that resonates. Like, hi, this is me, I get it. Here's what happens with our income though, and why this can create an income ceiling, or it can cause that up and down and that lack of sustainability that I think most of us are craving in business. If we don't take the time, we hit a new income level in business or a new level of growth. It doesn't always have to, we have growth in many different ways. It could be a new level of success. Andrew's an awesome script writer. It could be, you get a new level of success with your scripts, or you book, you get a new agent. Fill in the blank of all the different ways we can measure the way we're growing with a creative project. If we don't take the time to integrate that new level of income, that new ceiling we've just surpassed, and we don't take time to get comfortable there and make it the new normal, we will sabotage the heck out of ourselves and we will slide back real quick. That's when we get that up and down, because we have to think about what happens when we're creating something new. We're essentially expanding our comfort zone. If we're breaking through any kind of income ceiling, right? We are expanding our comfort zone. Discomfort, our brain is not it doesn't like it. Our brain is wired to avoid discomfort, to avoid pain, to seek pleasure. So even if it's something we want, more money, more success, more credibility, more accolades, if we don't take the time to integrate that and make it the new normal and integrate it as a part of who we are and how we're living, we will crash and burn so quickly. And I think a really great example of this is what we see with, I mean, I've talked about lottery winners a lot. I think they say 70% of lottery winners go broke within 3 years. There's lots of factors. I think one of those reasons is they're not integrating what it means to have all of this money. They just get this landslide of money and never really integrate it. And so it's real quick to blow through it. I think we see this a lot with, unfortunately, sometimes celebrities and people who like rise to fame really quickly. Really easy to crash and burn if we aren't taking that time to integrate and settle in. And I think it is one of the tougher, more challenging things for those of you who are high achieving. I know for me, I don't want to integrate. When I'm being told to integrate, I just want to keep going. Don't tell me to stop. But it's really, really, really important if we want to be able to then create a new income, not even a ceiling, but just a new level that we want to jump to and surpass. Hey, Cultivating Kelly, nice to have you. Let me know if that one's resonating with you. That one felt important to me to speak to. It's one that's been really important for me as I've grown and scaled my business to 5-figure months. In order to be able to do that and to be able to sustain that and have that be replicable, I had to first integrate and really settle in ahead of time, or I would have crashed and burned. Okay. Hey, Miguel, nice to have you. Again, let me know, y'all are very quiet. Let me know if this is resonating. I always want to have a conversation around this. Okay, now I'm going into the real 3. That was my tangential one. Okay, so the first one here is, this is more common than y'all think. That is not actually wanting to build or to have or to create what it is you're going after. I think this causes us to hover under an income ceiling more often than you expect. So I work with clients at all different levels, and I can't tell you how many times someone either comes to me who's been in business for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, or who already has created what we would all say is a relatively, successful business, 6 figures and beyond, and they're feeling really stuck and stagnated, and they're having a hard time scaling, moving forward. They've been at this, they're plateauing. And when we peel back the layers, one of the reasons, and again, this isn't for everyone, this isn't to say everyone go burn down your business, but these are some things to start thinking about if you're hitting those income ceilings in your business. Sometimes what we will find is they don't want what they're building anymore. Their business model has gotten, oh, Wilson says my volume is really low. Oh no, let's see. Is that any better? That's not good when my volume's low. Facebook, let me know as well. It might be, well, we'll see how this goes. Thanks for giving me a heads up. I might have to do headphones next time or plug in a mic. All right, let me know if you can hear me, because I'm doing the same thing I always do, and I don't think I'm muted. Facebook the same as well. Let me know if you're hearing me. Where was I? So what I find can happen for a lot of us, especially if you've been doing this for a while, so often we can get stale on something. Or the other thing that can happen for some people I'm sorry, I'm like all thrown off of the volume here. I'm like trying to retrain my thoughts here. The other thing that can happen is sometimes when we're trying to build a business, we just latch onto something and it works faster than we think it will. Sometimes that's not the thing we want to do. Sometimes that's not the business model we want. Sometimes that's not actually the thing we meant to have work, and it happens almost by accident. It happens, I know for those of you who are spinning your wheels, that's a frustrating thing to hear, but it happens. I think the other thing, as we've been in business for longer, your own work can start to feel stale. It isn't to the outside world, but we're humans, we like change. As much as we don't like change, we also like change, and I think we can start to get stuck into a rut. And if we aren't feeling happiness in our business, if we aren't feeling joy in our business, if we don't really want to build whatever that next level is of our business, if we're not enjoying our business model, we don't want what that next level, that next ladder on the rung is, you better believe you're going to subconsciously sabotage your success and keep hanging out at a lower income level. Whatever that income ceiling you're at, it's going to be really hard to move through it, because our brain subconsciously is going to resist it, because it doesn't want what's on the other side. Why would it want more of something it doesn't already want? Same thing with, let's say you do love your work, but you've built yourself into a place where you're feeling burned out or just not feeling the joy in your business. Same exact thing. Hey, Miss Nola. Same exact thing here. Subconsciously, your brain is going to start to kick up all the sabotages it can to keep you nice and safe just underneath that income ceiling. And this is how we can stay at a plateau for so long if we don't take the time to identify, I'm not feeling the joy in my business. I'm not feeling the pleasure in my business. I don't even like my business model anymore. I don't like what I'm doing. If we don't address those things, it's going to be real hard to break past that income ceiling. I don't know if my volume is working, y'all. I'm almost wondering that I'm so quiet because no one is replying to that. So let me know. All right. I'm just going to go on to the next one, and I'm assuming my volume is working. Let me know. Facebook, Instagram, whoever wants to give me a heads up, let me know. If not, we might have to do this again. We'll do it again later if we need to. I'll listen on the replay. All right, so let's see. What did I have here? Another reason we tend to hover under an income ceiling instead of smashing through it, we don't think we want. We're scared of not failure, which is a thing, but we're scared of the success and what might come with it on the other side. This one is so common, y'all. So common. So if you're feeling this, I was literally having a conversation with someone about this today. She's gonna think that I'm basing this off of her. Swear I'm not. This is so common. So what can happen, especially as we've started to build some success, there can become a fear of, if I pass this income level, if I pass this income ceiling, if I create more success, here are all the bad things that might happen to me. I might have more responsibility. I might not be able to have fun. I'm already working so hard. I'm never going to have any free time. I think people can worry about what it's going to do to their friendships, what it's going to do, within their peer circle. I think a lot of times, depending on your dynamic within your relationship, there can be a lot of fear around what that's going to kick up, what responsibilities that's going to kick up. Is it going to change the dynamic? There are so many just really interesting things based on our history and what our patterns are. Hey, Omar, let me know if you can hear me because I keep hearing that the volume's not working. There are so many different patterns we can play into here that we're not even aware of that can cause us to sabotage and keep us hanging out just below that income ceiling that we're wanting to cross over, because we are not afraid of failing, we're afraid of what's going to be on the other side. And I think this is a really important one to get some clarity on. Hey, I don't know who just joined me on Facebook. Can you hear me? I keep hearing the volume's not working, and I'm not sure if my volume's working. I would be so grateful if you would let me know. All right, I'm getting the hearts on Instagram, so hopefully that means it's working on Instagram again. I think this is one we wanted. I think a great thing to journal around is getting clear on, what am I scared? Thank you, Andrew. What am I scared will happen if I do succeed, if I do smash through this income ceiling? I think that's a really great question for me when I up-leveled last to the next monthly income that I was wanting. Before that, I've been hovering for a while underneath, from 4 figures to 5-figure months. I journal around this a lot, and I had to get really clear on, oh, isn't that fascinating? There are some real fears here around what's going to happen if I make this happen. And I think there's so much power in being able to look at that and get clear on, this is the reason I'm hanging out here, because this feels a whole lot safer and more comfortable than what I am scared of on the other side, even though consciously I really want this next level. Consciously, I want to break through this income level. Let me know if that's making sense. I think this one's really, I'd say this one is as common as being scared of failing and being scared that we're not going to be able to make it happen and that we're going to publicly fail. I would wager a bet with my high achievers, especially those of you who have been at this for longer than a hot second. I would bet this one is more common than fear of failure. And I mean, honestly, they're almost like what's it called? 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. They're very intertwined there. So that's another one I find very, very, again, common. Just something to start to get curious about. If you've been having a hard time smashing through that income ceiling, are you scared of what's going to happen on the other side? And get really honest with yourself. And there's no shame in that. Fears are normal. But again, our brain's wired to protect us. So if there is a fear there, subconsciously, even if consciously you want that next level, subconsciously, it's going to push away. I think another really common one for my high achievers is the burnout fear, especially if you feel like you've been hustling a lot already. I think there can be the fear of, well, the only way I'm going to be able to make more money is to work even harder, and I'm going to have no life, and I'm just going to flat out burnout. I don't want more work. I can't handle more. And so you might say, I want to make more money. I want to hit that next level. If that tape's going on, you better believe you're not going to cross over that income ceiling. And if you do, it's going to be that up and down one. Same, I think asking for support can be another big one. I'm gonna have to get really vulnerable and ask for more support, or let more people into my team, or invest more, or I'm gonna have to spend more in taxes. I mean, there's so many really fascinating fears that can come up around making more. And I know someone's gonna watch this and think, oh my gosh, wow, like fears around making more, but this is really all. I think expanding and making more money is beautiful. You all know, I think if you've been hanging out with me, like I so am all about us making more money in a way that feels good, in a way that's heart-centered, doing what we love. I think it's important. It's how we ripple our impact outwards. And there's some real stuff that comes up with that. And that's not a bad thing. I think this is just a beautiful lens to look at our stuff through. And I think this is a place we want to make sure we're not shaming ourselves for having things around that. Because I think that's really, really easy for us to do. So to make ourselves feel bad about feeling bad. And that's a whole nother thing right there. Okay, hopefully that one makes sense. I forgot, am I on 2 or 3 here? I'm on the last one here. The other one here that I think is really common that causes us to hang out right underneath our income ceiling and not be able to cross over to that next level is having some sort of story or attachment about who you have to be. And I'm not talking about who you have to be like mentally, like I am embodying being successful, believing in myself, but character traits that we can sometimes put on ourselves in terms of, I have to first be this in order to make more money, in order to cross to that next level. I think this can be a form of perfectionism for my perfectionists out there. Said with love, and Instagram, let me know if you can hear me. Said with love, I think this can be a big form of perfectionism, and how we tell ourselves, I can't cross this income ceiling, I can't smash through this, I can't get to the next level until all these 45 things are perfect, until I've taken another course, I have another degree, I have better clothes, I have lost weight, I'm better at business. I think that one's a really common one for my women and my creatives. I think we have this thing that we're not good at business, and that until we're good at business, I mean, what does that even mean? Until we're good at business, we can't cross over to the next income level. And so these are all stories we tell ourselves, and here's the deal with stories, y'all. The way our brain is wired, the way our identity is wired, we will do everything we can to stay in alignment and integrity congruent to the stories we tell ourselves. If I believe that I have to be better at business, I have to be a better coach, I need 5 more degrees, I need 5 more testimonials and a better website. Fill in the blank of whatever my form of perfectionism is to be able to make whatever that number is that is crossing through that income ceiling that I've just been hanging out at. That's what's going to be true, because my brain is going to do everything in its power to ensure that is true, because here's what our brain doesn't like. It doesn't like that incongruent. It doesn't like to say, hey, Kim, this is what we believe, this is how the world works, and then when something else happens, that our brain's like, no, like I can't handle this. So it's going to do everything in its power. Again, a lot of this is subconscious to make whatever that story is play out in real life. And so I think this is another great area just to check in. What are some of the stories you have around being able to move through this income ceiling to the next level? What are some of those stories, and are they serving you? Do you want to maybe give those stories a little rewrite and start to shift that on an internal level so that externally everything you're doing works for you, so that you're able to smash through that income level? I know a lot of this sounds like all I gotta do is start to question these stories and change these things and I can make more money. And I mean, kind of, yeah. I mean, yes and no. Obviously, there's other things to business. But what I find so often with clients, when they have been at an income ceiling, when they have been at a plateau, when they do smash through that income ceiling, they're not necessarily changing up their strategy. They're not necessarily doing a whole bunch of stuff differently. These are the pieces that we're taking a look at. These are the pieces that we're shifting and looking at and moving through to allow them to have the ability, the capacity to receive more. If that makes sense. So I thought it would be fun just to close this out, and Instagram, I still don't know if you can hear me, but thanks those of you who are there. I'm guessing you can't, or you wouldn't be hanging out. I thought what would be nice is just to give you a few prompts, because these are great things to journal around, or these are great things to speak with a loved one or a coach or a mentor, someone that you really trust, if you've been really wanting to move through that income ceiling. And if you want to believe, I believe we don't have a ceiling. We don't have a cap to what we're capable of, possible of. But I do think for most of us, every time we grow, we have a new self-imposed ceiling that we have to stretch our mind around, so we can pass through it. I know if that makes sense. So essentially, I think we're all limitless, yes. However, most of us hit a cap, a self-perceived cap, a self-contained cap, where we tend to hang out. And in order to expand to our limitless possibility, we have to stretch our thinking to be able to move past that. And we just keep peeling back the layers to do that. Hey Carolyn, nice to have you here. Just closing out here, talking about income ceilings. I think this is a good one. So some questions I want to leave everyone to think about, to ask yourself, to journal on, to chat with some other people. Just everything we talked about today, are any of these coming up for you? First, have you been at an income ceiling? Do you feel like you've been hanging out, either working really hard and not making the income you want, or do you feel like you've been hanging out the same income for a long time, and no matter what you do, it's like you're just not seeming to be able to smash through that income ceiling? So identify that first. Carolyn says, defo watching this replay. I would love to hear your reflections, and this makes me happy to know that y'all can hear me, because we were having volume problems earlier. Yep, thank you. So check in, is that happening first? Second, we talked about 4 different things here. I think it can be helpful which of these you identify with. You might identify with more than one. That's okay. I do all the time. And so just as a recap there, have you just had some growth and not had a chance to integrate yet? That's the first one, just to check in on. Second one, do you want where you're going? Do you want what you're building? Do you want what you're creating? Do you want this business or this creative project? Get real with yourself. Sometimes that is a great thing that keeps us stuck. Do you have a fear around what will happen if you create more success, if you create more income, if you get past a certain income number? Again, most of us have a number that if we surpass it, it is like 25 red flags go off in our head as to what bad things might happen. And then that last one there, do you have some stories, and most of us do, around what you need to be, have, do in order to make more money, in order to reach that next income level? Do you have a list of 45 things that need to be perfect before you're allowed to make more? So get clear on if any of those are coming up for you, or all of them. And then I think what could be really helpful to check in with is, how is this pattern, story, belief, fear, how is it serving you? How is it serving you to hang out underneath this income ceiling? How is it serving you to not go through your income ceiling? I know we want to think that it doesn't serve us, and that making more money always serves us, and that we just want to skyrocket past this. But I promise you, everything we do because it serves us. So check in with, no shame in this. This isn't making anyone wrong. This isn't to make anyone feel bad, but what is this doing for you? How is this protecting you? How is this making you feel good? How is this helping you out on some level? I think that can be really, really interesting and fascinating. Let me see. Right, so how is it keeping you safe? How is it keeping you small? I think that's the other thing to really check in with. How is this keeping you small? And if you knew it was safe to smash through this income level, if you knew it was safe to have more success, if you knew it was safe to make more money, and if you could trust, I will be safe on the other side, what next action would you take? Those are my questions for you. Have some fun with those. Carolyn, as you watch on the replay, let me know your thoughts, and everyone else watching on the replay too. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. And then I think that's just checking to see if we have any questions. Unless anyone has any questions, that wraps us up on the 3, turned out to be 4 reasons you might be hitting an income ceiling, and some questions to help you move through them. Carolyn says, not sure if it's a ceiling I'm hitting, but I'm certainly having an identity crisis, LOL. Well, here's what I'll say around an identity crisis. I don't know, without chatting more, I don't know if it's a ceiling, but I do think a lot of times as we're having growth, it can feel like an identity crisis, because often what is required of us to create more success, and more income, and to be able to receive more, it often does require a new level of us. And so very often can feel like an identity crisis because we have the soul us, the higher level of us, and that doesn't mean your current level isn't higher, but just that next level us that is really capable of receiving and holding that success and income. And then we often have wherever we currently are, and they tend to like tug of war. One's like, hey, stay over here, this is really comfortable, we know what this is like. And the other one's like, we gotta like stop some of this stuff so that we can get over here, get a little uncomfortable to get comfortable with having more. Let me know if that makes sense, Carolyn. And if that's, I'm riffing here, so I hope that's what you mean. But I find that can happen for a lot of us. I know I had a conversation with someone recently. Hey, sweetie, nice to see you. Hearts. Just wrapping up here. I had a conversation with someone recently, and I was saying I felt like I had to kill off my old self in order to be able to have the business success and income that I do now. And that sounds so dramatic, but I really believe that. I believe, and I like all the love in the world for my past self, but I feel like she had to die so that I could be here and be able to receive and have and feel good about that, not sabotage it, and continue to grow. Carolyn says, yes, thank you. I'm glad that resonates. I'm having trouble with words today. Resonates. Hey, Safiya. Hey, Kelly. Safiya says, I feel like I'm killing my old self too. Thank you for sharing that. Thanks for saying that I'm not the only one. I literally said that to someone this week, and I think it's a beautiful thing as long as we can have some love, like all the love in the world for that past self, because this is so not what we were talking about today, but I will say, for those of you feeling like you're having the identity crisis and killing off your old self, I think it's important that we have a whole lot of love and gratitude and compassion for our former selves. I know I do, even though she did some questionable things and had some questionable beliefs. I wouldn't be here without her, and I want to be so grateful for everything she went through and everything she learned and everything she did to get me here. And I'm also really okay with cutting that cord and saying bye to her so I can be the me now. So compassion, love, and totally in a very positive way down with killing those past selves. Safiya says 100%. Carolyn says, I literally had that same convo today. It is in the air. It's really fascinating. I think it's in the air. Well, we will have some celebrations for our new selves. Maybe that's the positive way to look at this. A great party for all of our new identities, and maybe that will help with the identity crisis piece. That person, that new identity, gets to have a party and celebration for being here, and it makes everything feel so much easier. Safiya says, am I pronouncing your name right? I want to make sure I am. But that's how we bring life to the new you. And Ursula says thumbs up. That's exactly how we bring life to the new you. And I think just to what Safiya is saying, and hey Angela, I think that's such a beautiful point and such a great way to think about it. It's really hard to feed both. And so the way we bring life to and we really nurture and allow the new us to grow is by cutting those ties to the old us and like fully taking care of that new us. Otherwise, it's like you're trying to take care of two. Forget the two personality types and like all of that. It's just, if we just think practically, if you had two people, I mean, that's a lot of work, y'all. I'm enough work all on my own. So I think that that's such a great reflection. Safiya says yes. So let's just feed the next level us. Let's feed the new us and use some of those journaling questions to get clear on, is the next level you that you want to feed the one that's showing up in your business and the one that's asking you to grow and move forward? Or is some of that former you, some of like that we have love for, but is he trying to get behind the wheel? And is that who's running your business? And is that who's trying to keep you hanging out and underneath that income ceiling and keeping you from pushing to the next level because they've got a whole bunch of stories or patterns, limiting beliefs, fears that they're using to try to keep you because they want to get fed. So let's starve them. This sounds so morbid today. Let's starve them so that we can break through those income ceilings and have that next level success we want. Sound good? I'm laughing at how this conversation went today. That's being live, y'all. All right, that's what I've got for you today. Let me know on the replay, questions, reflections. Would love to hear them. I love you all. I'm gonna go now and have dinner with my boys. Angela says yes, so happy it resonates. I will see you all next Tuesday. We'll have another live, a new topic, and I have a new masterclass for you this month. The lead page will be done tonight. It's the four pillars of making bank, for making bank. I'm really excited about this one. I think it's gonna be fun. I say that every time. I still think this one's gonna be really fun. So I will make sure Instagram that there is a link in my bio by the end of the day. Facebook, I will make sure there is a link in this live and at the top of the Facebook group by the end of the day. If you sign up, you always get a free bonus playbook with it and all the reminders. So would love, love, love to have you. We always have a lot of fun on the master classes. Thank you for the hearts. Carolyn says, love your face. I love you and your face back. Love you all so much. Bye. All right, ending here. Thanks for hanging with me all.